Let's get it.
Hey, it's Bryan with DD214 Transport. Please like, subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications. Welcome back. It's Wednesday. We're here. You're here. Glad to see you. So tonight we're going to be talking about some interesting things. So stand by for that. Let's go ahead and thank our veterans and first responders for all they do and all they continue to do for this country, as we would not be the country we are today without them. St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital and Wounded Warrior Project are our charities of choice. If you need help, you can go over to the Patreon site, sign up for one of the mentorship programs, and help us help them. At the end of the year, we match whatever's been given over there, and we donate it to these two charities. So thank you for helping us help them. All right, tonight, Hotshot Trucking Exposed, the challenges no one talks about. So we're going to get into this shortly. I'm going to give you some examples, and then we're going to talk about it, see what we can do about it as a group. All right. Fuel prices are down 0.6 cents to 3.046. Again, that's 3.046 on the week. Now, picture of the week. All right, guys. This is my son and my new driver, Bobby. I got to tell you the funny story about it real quick. Hang on. So Bobby's coming up. He's out of Georgia. He's coming up, and I saw how he was running, and I knew he was going to go right through my son's jurisdiction. I didn't know where my son was working, but I knew he was going to go through there. So I called him. I said, where are you working at? And he said, well, we're working, 77 today. I said, hey, I got a driver coming up through there. I said, I'll keep you informed. Maybe you can reach out and say hello. So sure enough, as the day went on, he was coming up 77, and I just happened to stop and look to see where he was at. And damned if he was not stopped at the Pilot right there in Rock Hill, South Carolina. And that's my son's jurisdiction. It's right off 77. So I got on the phone to my son and said, hey. Bobby's right there. How far are you away from the Pilot? And he said, I'm on the ramp getting off at the Pilot. And this is perfect. I said, okay. I said, he's in the first fuel while. Go over and say hi to him. So my son rolls up on him and introduces himself. It was interesting. It was a good meeting. It's a good way to meet. But yeah, that's them at the fuel while. So Bobby was a good sport about it, and we had a good time with it. Welcome aboard, Bobby. Glad to have you. All right, so this is Robert's load for today. I've seen this before. We had another driver have this same load, but this is Robert's load for today. I think that's just a cool load, man. It's very eye-catching. This is James' load. He's running a backhoe. I had to think for a minute whose load this was. But that's James. And there's Robert again. He's trucking trucks this week. So all the drivers are running and out, and we've got Thanksgiving coming up, so everybody's trying to get out so they can get back in. Crazy shit you see out there. Now, guys, this is some crazy shit right here. So, we had a driver parked at a truck stop, and he hears an explosion. So, as a medic, he grabs his med bag, jumps out, runs 4 lanes over, 4 parking spots over, and a damn RV, guys, their propane tank had exploded. I mean, blew that RV to pieces. I got some more pictures, but seriously, blew that son of a bitch to pieces. Nobody was killed. People were smoking, but nobody was killed. It's absolutely amazing. So here's kind of a long shot of the RV. I zoomed in on it on this one, but look at that. It's gone. There's nothing but the front end left of that thing. And evidently the propane tank exploded. And there you have it. So that's some crazy shit right there. I don't care what you say. All right, what do we got? Here we go. That's it for the week. We're going to talk about this. The challenges no one talk about. There's a lot of things going on out there. And as professional drivers, we have to be aware of what they are. We have to know the rules. We have to be able to identify bullshit and call it out when you see it. Now, onto this picture right here. We went to pick up this load, okay? That's a train cab. Doesn't seem like it's much of anything. I have a driver, James, went up to it, and as he's been taught and as he knows how I am about things, he goes in. First thing he does is look at it and measures it. It wasn't on the rate confirmation, guys. This is 6,000 pounds is all it said on the rate confirmation. So he measures it, and this thing is overdimensional. I think it's like 104. I'm sorry. You get 108, so it was 100. It was 4 inches too wide. It's 112. All right, 4 inches doesn't sound like a lot. Okay, 4 inches too wide. That's 2 inches aside. That's nothing. Okay, but it's everything. As a professional driver, it's everything. Now, these are the dirty little secrets that people aren't talking about. If an officer pulls you over, all he has to do is hang a plumb bob from your furthest point hanging out of that. And if it doesn't touch the rub rail, you're OD. You're absolutely OD. Now, James was smart enough to pick up the phone and call me and tell those people, this is OD. It's 114 inches. So what happened was this. Here's your dirty little shit that goes on behind the scenes. This broker, and I'm not calling anybody out, okay? I did notify the FMCSA about it, but I didn't call anybody out. But this broker and this shipper both, okay, both of them knew that this was OD. They didn't put it on the rate column as OD. We show up, we're smart enough to say, hey, we got to get permits for this. Okay, from where it was going to where it was picked up to where it was going, 3 states. It was 3 states, 350 miles, I think. Now, once we told them we understand the rules and this is overdimensional, it's going to cost more to run, we have to get permits. Pop, pop, pop. Within 35 minutes, we get a note, and the note says, never mind, the shipper has decided not to ship this. Okay? So, shipper knows it's OD. Broker knows it's OD. We know it's OD. Okay. Well, James actually ended up getting another load, a legal load, outside of this one. Okay. Now look at this again. It's a train engine. It's the cab for a train. So he gets another load, going to the same place. No big deal. It was a lot heavier. It's going to the same place. When he shows up there, as he was waiting to be unloaded, this pulls in beside him. That is James's load. This guy ran this load on a non-CDL Hotshot. No banners, no permits, no lights, no flags. There are certain ways you run OD loads, and this isn't it. He ran through 3 states, 350 miles, illegal as hell. Now, you can see there, he's over. I zoomed in on it. It's tough because James is a better driver than he is a photographer. But you can see how the straps are pulled out. He's got 1 tire missing on this truck. When I pulled his DOT number, it had been inactivated. So it's an illegal truck. So what happened was they pulled us off this load because we knew it was OD. And they found some Asian guy, this guy who James went up and tried to talk to him. This guy's Asian, didn't speak English. Okay, he did not speak English. No banners, no flags, no permits, no nothing. And, you know, to top it off with everything else, non-CDL drivers cannot typically haul over-dimensional loads. Okay? These things take a CDL to run, let alone permits, let alone the requirements of each state. So the broker and the shipper broke the law knowingly. Why? Because they didn't want to pay the fees. Okay. So my problem with all this is that we're out here trying to run legal. No, let me back that up. We're out here running legal. We're not trying to run legal. We're running legal. And you have more than likely a foreigner using another foreigner to drive that truck. It's a totally unsafe vehicle. You can look at it and tell it's unsafe. Hell, the 1 tire on the trailer was almost flat. And they're being propped up by these unscrupulous shippers and brokers. Now, these are dirty little secrets, you know. Nobody wants to talk about them because it's rampant. It's not just in the hotshot end of it either. It's in the trucking industry. If you won't run a load, and this, by the way, so you understand, this is the 2nd load this week that we were pulled off of because we wouldn't run it because it was over dimensional. And you had to pull permits. And if you didn't want to pull permits, fine. Robert had one where the trailer tires were too big. And you know, when they set it down, you bunched it over, it was OD. So, you know, my guys are trained not to. If it's over 102 inches, you don't touch it without a permit. Period. That's it. You can go 4 feet off the back if you want to with flags and flashers, but on the sides, that is OD. So some other little things that goes on that these brokers are doing. Now, mind you, we're not talking about normally the bigger brokerage houses. We're talking about these one-off small brokerage that just happen to step in a deal, or they're foreigners. And I don't want you to think that I'm being racist, because I'm not. But I do have a tendency to have seen enough of these people coming in here, and we've been screwed by enough of them that come in here and try to just run ripshot over everybody and everything. And but if you can't speak the English, I mean, you can't read the English. You can't read the requirements on what has to be done, what's legal and what's not legal. So this Chinese guy or Asian guy or whatever he was, this guy had no idea he was running illegal. You know, whoever owns that truck is the one that told him to take it and go. It's not that guy's problem. If this guy gets put in jail, kills somebody, he'll disappear. But what I'm trying to figure out now is, as a community, what we can do about it. You know, when we see all this illegal stuff going on, you know, what do we do? And we're going to talk about it in a minute. But those are the questions I want you to ponder. When brokers tell you that you don't need an OD permit for something over 102 inches, they're breaking the law. Okay, that's it. We've had on multiple occasions people tell us, "Oh, we got people driving this every day. They don't get permits." Okay, then you're breaking the law. So these guys will try to manipulate you, try to coerce you, try to do whatever they can do to get you to run that load illegally. And when you do it, it's your ass. Your ass is on the line, not theirs. And here's another little dirty secret. Everything falls on your back. Okay? Anything you do out there, you run an OD load that they coerced you or browbeat you into taking, and you get stopped, it's your responsibility to know what an OD load is and to pull the permits correctly. When you get pulled off a load because you have to get permits, consider it a badge of honor because you did the right thing. Now, never let them talk you into stuff. Never let them demand that you break the law. There are unscrupulous brokers that will absolutely try to force you into running illegally. Okay? And you can't do it. Because why? It's always on you. Everything is on you. This guy sitting behind a desk somewhere, or this girl sitting behind a desk somewhere, most of the time they don't even know what the laws are. All they know is they've got a load that gets moved. And those are the things and the only things they care about. So you have to take control of the situation as a professional driver and know what the rules are and stand up to them and say, no, it's not, that's not the way it's going to work. Okay. So, all right. So let's talk about some of these things and see what we can come up with of maybe a consensus on how to deal with the things that we're seeing out there. So, I was talking to James, and James said that he didn't want to go up and take pictures and be all obvious about things. Guys, that's not the way I roll. I'll get out and flat ask you, where's your stuff at? Why are you illegal? Why are you running like this? You make it hard on all of us. All of us get beat on, absolute beat on, because these guys are out here running illegal. We're out here running a business. They're out there running a game or running a scheme, whatever they can get away with. So, yeah, that's been the week there today. And if we don't start doing something about it collectively, it's just going to get worse. And I think the first thing we need to do about it is start speaking up and be the, most of the guys out there are running legal or doing everything they can to run legal. You saw these pictures of this mess. I mean, who runs down the road with an OD load on one tire? I mean, I don't know anybody. This guy, it's an OD load. So, yeah, it's just a driving hazard going down the road. They're a danger to the public. All right, so let's talk about it. What we got? We got anything yet? Everybody's heard me preaching. Why didn't they turn the load so that it wasn't OD? I'm not sure they could have loaded it the other way, Skeeter. Sometimes you can only load things in a certain direction because of the equipment they have or whatnot, but you would have thought that they could have done that. Yes, I agree with you. What else we got, guys? I have seen brokers try to attempt to browbeat me. I mean, I've had guys try to say things that would, that I knew wasn't true, and I lit them up. I just light them up. I don't take any kind of grief off a broker who's trying to do me to get me to do something illegal. So there's no sense in it. Don't do it. My guys know that if something happens, their first call's to me, and I'll deal with the broker. So what else we got? We got anything? I think I've complained enough for one evening. But these are the secrets that you got to understand and that you got to know. If you don't know, if you're not sure about what's going on, your first reaction should be to stop and then ask questions. Okay. You got certain things. You got 102 inches wide. That's the same width as a semi. And that's all you got. Anything bigger than that's got to take a permit. If you have a small item and that you got it misloaded and it's hanging off on one side, you got to have a permit. It's got to be within those 102 inches. Okay. So that doesn't include your straps. You know, we had the one guy with the trailer wanted to argue with Robert about, well, what about your straps? They're over 102. It's not the straps. What's up has to be within 102 inches is the cargo itself. Okay. Height wise, 13.6. That's your max. 13.6. If you go over 13.6, you're going to have a super load. Okay. You're going to have a pilot car in the front with a bar and a pilot car in the back. It doesn't matter what you're running. So, and then off the back of the vehicle, you can have up to 4 feet with a flag and flashers. But you need that flag on there. If you don't have the flag on the longest points, you're not right. So remember this, for all you non-CDLs that are watching this, cannot typically drive an overdimensional load, okay? It requires a CDL. I damn sure know you can't do hazmat with a non-CDL. So, all right, so we got one question. Bring it. All right, what is a fair percentage rate per load when leased on to someone else's authority? I hope I'm asking correctly. You know, guys, I want to tell you, most companies will take 20%. We take 15.5. So that's about what it is, and it depends on the contract. Okay, that also has to do with it. So you have to read your contract and make sure you know what you're getting into. I appreciate the question, man. Got something else? Roger. See, how does he get away? Buddy, I do not know. I have no idea how these guys are getting away with it unless they're scale jumping. And all that means is they're going around the scales. You know, we had 2 drivers pulled over today and give inspections. So how they do it, they got to be going around the scales. That's all I know. Those states, Wisconsin, Illinois, and Indiana, they're terrible for hotshots. They beat the shit out of us all the time. And this guy's running around with 1 tire missing, you know, no flags on an OD load, no banners, no lights. He's just tooling around, you know, doesn't speak any English. So he's lucky. Yeah, thank you. He's lucky. And like I tell people, you might get away with stuff for a minute, but you're never going to get away from it forever because they're going to catch you, guaranteed eventually. All right. So now here's a question for you guys. Let me ask you a question. What would you do? What would you do if you come up on this mess? What would you do? Now, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, or what I would do. Especially if that was my load that was taken, okay? Even though he got another load and went to the same place, that's some sketchy shit right there, I'll tell you now. I'll tell you, I would have got a better picture. I would have shot the front of that thing. I'd have shot the back of it. I might have even called the police while I was sitting there. There's no sense in this. That kind of crap right there gets people killed. And it beats the hell out of us, is what I'm telling you. As a CDL driver that follows the rules, every time I turn around, our guys are getting pulled over because of the CDL drivers that don't follow the rules. So, and you look at, granted, you know, I look at it and I said, shit, it's only 4 inches. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And part of me says, "That shit, it's only 4 inches." And then the company owner comes back and says, "Doesn't matter whether it's 4 inches or 30 seconds of an inch on either side." See, what you're going to do is you're going to get hit with a $1,500 fine for running with a. This guy would have got. I don't know what he'd have got. First of all, he shouldn't have been hauling it as a non-CDL. Secondly, he had no permits. Third, he had an oversized load without the proper documentation and the proper flags, lights. You know, OD loads they're particular about exactly what they want when you're running them. North Carolina, for example, you cannot run an OD load until 30 minutes after sunrise, and you have to be shut down 30 minutes before sunset. Therefore, if you're running this load all day in North Carolina, you've got to make some plans. Now, with those OD loads up there, because it got pulled off of me so quick, I didn't really bother going into finding out what the requirements would be to run. But if you have to shut down before sunset, you might not get through Chicago coming through there because of the traffic. So that means you're going to have to stop early, find a place to park. So you see all the ramifications that happen with this kind of garbage. And yet some of these guys, this Asian guy is going to get caught, okay? And he's going to lose his license, or he's going to be fined to death. He'll have his license suspended. Whatever they're going to do to him, they're going to do to him. And the guy behind this deal, it's not the Asian guy. He can't read. There would be no way he could fill out the packets, the paperwork. He can't do any of that. So he couldn't fill anything out to get his license. You see what I mean? Not his driver's license, but his DOT paperwork and so forth. So it's the other guy will ditch him and get another driver in there and run that driver until he kills somebody or he gets caught. Okay. So what do you guys think? I mean, what do we do when we see this kind of garbage? Do you report them? Do you put your head down and just keep driving? What do you do? Help me out.
Should be out of service without tire, right?
That out of service? Oh, that tire was almost flat. He would have been out of service for that. When you said your drivers gave inspections, does that mean voluntary or did they? No, they got pulled in. Yeah, they had 2 today get pulled in and get inspections. You can look at our deal. We've had 60 some inspections. And you got to remember, they roll off. So they stay on you for 2 years and then they roll off. So these number of inspections we've had, I don't know how many we've had. A lot. We've had a lot of inspections. So if it wasn't for the constant garbage that goes on out there with these hotshots that running illegal, probably wouldn't have half as many inspections because you wouldn't need them. Thanks, Roger. All right, so pretty much done, I guess, for tonight. If nobody else is talking, you know, guys, I really appreciate you being here. I think that and hope you're learning something from this stuff. And who we got over here tonight? I'm going to go see. We got Brad. We got Robert, Skeeter, Rigatoni. I can't even say that, brother. Yes, that guy. We got Roger. Yeah. Okay. Well, good deal. So what we want to do is try to figure out a way. If you see something going on that's sketchy, whatever you got to do, say something. If you see something, say something, because it's our ass out there on the line. And yeah, that's what we got. So look, it's Bryan with DD214. Please like, subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications. Thank you for being here. Love to have you. I love your family, because that's all you got.
Let's do it.